we obviously saw last season in those opening 3 games the damage of the defeat. With that in mind, how important is it for you and the squad to start this season fast and to start it with the right tone for the rest of the campaign?
Well, it sets a very different tone, a different energy and confidence around the place, and things are much easier when you start winning football matches right from the beginning. And we want to get that positive vibe right from the beginning. And in order to do that, we know that Friday night is going to be a real test for us, and we're going to come with 3 points.
And you obviously had a difficult experience at Palace in that game at April last season. I know you talk a lot about with your players about using difficult moments, experiences, scars to motivate them. Is that something you'll talk about ahead of this game and to try and use that as motivation?
I think that one is still pretty recent, so I don't think we need to dig too much into that one. Obviously, we have players that they didn't participate at all in that game, and it will be something that probably is not even worth mentioning that, but they are aware about the difficulty of tomorrow's match for sure.
Mikel, there's been a lot made about the new signings, but William Saliba is pretty much a new signing for you. Have you been surprised how quickly he seems to have fitted into the system?
I am really happy how he's adapted. Obviously, it's always something that you have to see, spending a year away from here in a completely different league, but playing the amount of minutes that he played and the way that you could see that he was growing and developing, it gave us a lot of reasons to think that he could be the player that we need. And in the last few weeks, he has given us every reason to believe that we made the right decision loaning him for a year, because now he looks ready to go.
I mean, you got quite a lot of criticism for letting him go last season, and people were sort of questioning whether he ever even had a future at Arsenal. Was there ever a point where you thought maybe he won't be at Arsenal?
Well, in our opinion, it's not my opinion. In our opinion, he needed that exposure. You don't see players at 18 years old, 19 years old playing at the highest level in top clubs. It just doesn't happen, And we, as a club, a few years ago, we made a big investment because we believed that he could be a player that could have a significant impact in our team. And we believe, again, the best way to do it is to give him a pathway that we could not give him here, especially because last year we didn't have Europe, so he wasn't going to play any minutes or very few minutes. And now we have a very different context, and hopefully that will prove that for him and for the club it was the right decision. But at the time, I understand that we get criticized.
Do you just think, I mean, if he had stayed last year, maybe he wouldn't be where he is now, and probably wouldn't be ready for the team?
We don't know, because maybe he would have picked an injury and he would have played, and then he would have performed or not. And maybe we could have sent him on loan and it wouldn't work. He would have picked an injury like he did in the first loan that we had. Just football is so complicated. We believed and he believed it was the right thing to do, and we worked together. That's the most important thing. And now we are together again, and our relationship continues.
Mikel, do you feel that, I mean, obviously you've got a lot more games coming up this season because of Europe, it could be 6 more, it could be 12 more or something like that. Do you feel that the depth of the squad is where you want it to be in terms of handling that extra workload?
Well, at the moment, yes, because we still have a big squad. What's going to happen after the 31st of August, we don't know.
And do you think that was part of the reason why maybe you tailed off at the end of last season, that maybe the alternatives weren't there in key positions?
Well, and probably as well because obviously the moment that we lost a few specific players in a specific position where the replacement it wasn't natural, we could not give us the consistency in performances that we wanted. It was one of the reasons. But at the same time, that smaller squad gave us a lot in many moments.
And just on Zinchenko, he's obviously done well at left back so far, and we've seen him do that for City. Do you think his long-term future, though, lies as a midfielder? And was that a conversation in signing him?
He gives us adaptability, because even though he can play as a left back, he can occupy different positions on the field without changing anything. He can play as an attacking midfielder. He can play with two holders. That versatility and players that can interact with each other, it's something that we're really looking to get, and Alex gives us that.
Last couple of minutes embargo now, John.
Mikel, I was just going to ask you, you obviously had a really strong core group before. You've added two really big title winners. Just how much do they give you in terms of that winning know-how, that winning mentality, and the sort of kind of strength and character? Do you see that immediately in the dressing room?
Well, that was yes, and that was the aim of it. Those players have been inspired by top players, top professionals, ruthless winners for many years, and they've been looking at them, and now it's their turn to do the same and inspire those younger players that we have in our squad to do the same and to show them what it takes to win, and the level of detail, hunger and dedication that you need to keep winning.
The Premier League never ever gets any easier, does it? I mean, it must be, you know, intimidating almost at times. But do you feel you're ready to, as a team, as you know, as a group, to push on to another level?
We are ready to go to a different level, and I'm convinced of that. What the other teams are doing, it's obvious, and others had already much stronger squads that we had, and they still recruited 4 or 5, some of them 7 players. So this is not going to get any easier. So we can just focus on what we are trying to do, what we can do, because we cannot do everything at the same time, and we are confident that we're going to be able to do it.
Hi, Mikel. Last season we saw in the documentary you were building a kind of siege mentality, talking about everyone on the outside wants to kill us, etc. I just wondered, this summer it feels like your players and you and Edu have been very open and very positive openly. I just wondered what's behind that. Has that been a deliberate change in?
Well, I think we were very open last year as well. The way we communicated our strategy, the reason why we were recruiting the players that we did. I think Edu had an interview where he explained everything as well early in the season. But obviously everything gets stopped because the results, they don't go the way you want, and you have to accept that.